Vice President J.D. Vance hoisted CNN on his sword at CPAC. How? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Henry, and this is Conservative Commentary, where we spread the MAGA message. Before we dive in, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This really does help us out. And go to the address in the bottom right corner, youtube.com/@themagamessage, and check out our other videos. Well, at the Conservative Political Action Committee Conference, CPAC, in February 2025, Vice President J.D. Vance delivered a speech that resonated deeply with conservative values and priorities. He began by highlighting the administration's swift actions in its first month, emphasizing the reduction of border crossings by over 90% and the acceleration of domestic energy production. Vance remarked, "It's hard to believe we've only been in office for a month because I think we've done more in a month than Biden did in 4 years." Perhaps the most notable moment in his address was a pointed critique of CNN. Vance quipped, "We've had maybe more executive orders than CNN has viewers." He further remarked, "I think their plan was to go all in on anti-Trump and hope he could save their ratings like he did in 2017. But I guess that's one thing the president hasn't been able to do, save CNN's ratings." This comment was met with laughter and applause from the audience, reflecting the widespread conservative sentiment toward mainstream media. Vance also addressed the administration's commitment to traditional American values, emphasizing the importance of securing the southern border, increasing domestic energy production, and prioritizing American taxpayer money for American interests. He expressed opposition to the cultural homogenization, I'll say it right in a minute, of genders, and aligned with President Trump's stance on Supreme Court appointments, advocating for the protection of unborn life from a devout Christian perspective. In his speech, Vance defended President Trump's decision to engage in direct negotiations with Russian officials, suggesting that such dialogues are essential for achieving peace in Europe. He stated, "How are you going to end the war unless you talk to Russia? I really believe that we're on the cusp of peace in Europe for the first time in 3 years." Overall, Vice President Vance's address at CPAC underscored the administration's dedication to conservative principles, including national sovereignty, traditional values, and a robust foreign policy aimed at securing peace through direct engagement with all parties involved. Take a look at the following clip and please share your thoughts in the comments.
You all are doing. In fact, I don't even think the press can keep track of all they're doing. I mean, they talk about the shock and awe strategy. Seriously. So when you're looking at this list after list after list, what stands out to you?
Well, speaking of the press, I do think that we've had maybe more executive orders than CNN has viewers each night. So hello to our friends at CNN. I actually think that their plan was they were going to go all in on anti-Trump and hope that he could save CNN in the same way that he did, frankly, in 2017, because nobody really watched the network until he became president in 2017. But that's maybe the one thing I think the president has been unable to do, unable to save the CNN's ratings over the last few months. But look, I think that what the president has tried to do is recognize that we have a historical mandate on a few issues. We have to secure the southern border, and thanks to his actions, border crossings are down well over 90%, and we're just getting started. He recognizes that we have to really unlock the engine of American growth. We've got to get back to having a growing economy that creates good jobs and high wages for the American people, and a lot of that goes back to drill, baby, drill. We've done more on energy under President Trump's leadership than I think any administration in history, and that's not an exaggeration, and of course we're going to do more. And then I think the third thing that he's tried to do, of course, with the help of Elon and all the great folks at Doge, is ask, what are we doing with all of the American taxpayers' money, and why are we wasting so much of it on garbage that the American people either aren't aware that we're spending it on or don't want to be spending it on in the first place? Like, for example, the stuff that we've figured out, Mercedes, is unbelievable. Why are we spending money on progressive modern art projects centered around toilets in Afghanistan? That's actually something that your tax dollars were funding until very recently. And I think all of us are sitting around and asking, what the hell have we been doing with the American people's money for the last 4 years? Let's turn off the spigot and spend the American people's tax money on the American people's priority. And that's, of course, been a big focus of the administration, too.